Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil and this is
El Bandito.
Hey El Bandito, how's it going tonight?
Oh man, I'm having a great night tonight, senor, because we are continuing our Creators Corner, man, where we spotlight some of these amazing indie creators that we have met out here in the comic book community, man. We're doing this for the entire month of August. We've got some amazing folks lined up. If anyone's just joining us, last week we interviewed Connor Bartel and his amazing book that he had coming out, Swords and Sorrows, man, which was a cool Japanese style sword fighty one. Super cool, man. But tonight we've got a very special guest joining us. Travis Gibb is going to join us with tales of his series Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies, which looks super rad. This kind of Tarantino style comic, man, and I can't wait to talk to him about it, guys. It's live on Kickstarter right now. It's already funded on Kickstarter because people could not wait to check this bad boy out, and we're super stoked to talk to Travis. What do you think, Senor Boy? You want to get over and talk to him?
Oh, you know it, man. You know, like you said, I've been eyeballing this over there on Kickstarter, man. It is like right up my alley, man, when it comes to like the story, man. Like you said, Tarantino was exactly what I thought too, man. You know, just think that, you know, film noir, you know, man.
Absolutely.
So cool. But yeah, let's get Travis in here, man, and start having some fun.
All righty, let's check him out in the interview room. All right, Travis, thank you for joining us. How you doing tonight?
I am doing awesome. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh man, we are stoked, man. We are so happy to have you in here with us, Travis.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here too.
Well, that's fantastic, man. So you're not a newbie in the Kickstarter world, though, are you?
In the Kickstarter world, I actually am. This
Really?
is my first Kickstarter.
Wow. Okay, so it's off to a pretty smashing success then.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's not easy. You can't just put a Kickstarter up there and expect it to succeed. You got to really work at it. But yeah, I think I'm doing great. I was funded in 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going on stretch goals now. If you guys want air fresheners, now's the time to get them.
I did see that. That's a pretty awesome stretch goal, considering a lot of the series kind of revolves around these guys broke down in their car here. So getting some car air fresheners, especially with the tune of dead bodies hanging around, sounded like a great little kind of giveaway. But man, that must have been hard to get. Like, was that a hard one to find a company that would make those?
It actually wasn't. It was my wife's idea to get one. They didn't have dead body smell, which is very disappointing. I feel it's a market that could be used. But no, we had to get new car smell, whatever. But yeah, they're pretty cool. The stretch goals are awesome, and they really, you know, represent kind of the story that this is going through, the broke down story.
Well, very cool. Well, I know one thing we do is we always have a very difficult time trying to explain a spoiler-free version of the story, and Senor Bowl came up with a great idea. Why don't we just let the creator tell the spoiler-free version of the story? So why don't you fill in all our viewers who haven't made it over to the Kickstarter page yet? What can they expect out of Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies?
Well, hold on. I've got to address this. So
okay,
your guys' strategy is pass the buck. That's
yes.
the best part you guys come up with. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood the plan.
We like to pass those bucks right to the Kickstarter.
So, Broke Down in Four Dead Bodies, it's a drop-off that turns into a bloody ambush. Nice. It leaves our two main gangsters, Randy and Denver, to dispose of 4 dead bodies. Their tempers flare, and it's kind of chaotic. If you like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, it's kind of in that noir. It's a typical crime story. You're going to have lots of dialogue, lots of fights, lots of guns, lots of blood, maybe a swear word or two, or a few. But yeah, it's if there's not enough of that in comics, right? In comics, it's kind of a small genre. There's only about 10 or so books that you can think of that are famous that are in that genre. So I'm happy to add my book to the mix.
Absolutely, man. And you're right. It's kind of an underrated genre because you could do so much in the medium of comics that big budget films and all, it's hard to get on the screen. But then you can do so much more in comic books that I think it's very underutilized as well. So I think it's awesome that you're adding this to the repertoire of great books out there. And I did notice this is a multiple series book, right?
So kind of. So it's a 3-issue mini. So Broke Down in Four Dead Bodies is a 3-issue mini series.
Okay.
So that tells you the tale of Denver and Randy when they broke down. So that's the story. But broke down actually means a state of mind.
Gotcha.
In this particular book, it actually has a double meaning, but broke down as a state of mind. And I think you guys read the book, right? You guys, I sent it over.
I don't think we got a full copy of it. I think we just read the 10 pages.
What are you talking about? No, we're going to take care of that. Anybody who's reading this, anybody who wants it, you guys can message me. I broke down 4 Dead Bodies. I'll send you guys the full black and white copy. I really feel that you guys can get it. I'll send you the black and white. If you color, you're going to have to bid.
Yeah.
But I'll send you fully lettered and everything.
That's awesome, man. Well, all right, we got to throw Travis some love for that one, man.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, any of your fans, they want to come on in, we'll get them taken care of. So yeah, so Broke Down, but it's a state of mind. So the book after this is a one-shot called Broke Down and Tapped Out, and that's a wrestling story. But it's in the same universe. Everything takes place in the same universe. So the same bad guy, Mr. Washington's kind of like the kingpin of Denver, Colorado. So you'll see him and how he has the strings. And there is a bigger story per se, but it's all going to be crime related. You're never going to read this book and go, oh, there was a supernatural twist or something like that. It's always going to be straight crime, things that could really happen.
Very cool. So now, would you say that this is unique because the kind of protagonists in the story are nefarious characters?
Expand on that a little bit, that question.
Well, they're not good guys. Like a lot of comic books central around a good guy in the story. And, Randy's just coming out of prison. Denver seems like a real badass, Are they up to something good within the wheelhouse here? Or is it very, crime-related, crime-centric, and we're following kind of Scarface on his journey?
Well, let me smooth this just a little bit.
Sure.
Hold on, the other way. See, I have a giant Magneto thing.
Okay, great answer.
Bad guy.
Great answer right there.
No, I mean, I believe that everyone has redeeming stories. They have redeeming qualities. So they're not bad or good, but they are doing crime. They're doing evil things. So most of the stories are going to relate around that. But I wouldn't say that the whole series is going to definitely go that route. There may be some other angles that we may want to tackle, but majority of them are going to be crime related and seeing what these guys do and what they get in a broke down state, because something got them to broke down, right?
Yes.
In this story, we deal with what broke. Randy's just coming out of prison. Denver clearly has a screw loose. We start right in the first few pages. That's on the Kickstarter is showing that there's kind of a screw loose with them. So we're going to address those things and that state of mind and what caused them to break into crime.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, see, I love that, man, because I know, I was dating a girl one time who never read any comics before, so I kind of got her in with some films and then hooked her into reading some comics. And literally her favorite characters were the dynamic between Magneto and Professor X, because she felt like neither one was really a villain. They were just two different people who had wildly different life experiences and were reacting to life based on those experiences. So having that sort of character motivation as something that's so central, to you, that you have it on the wall behind you, I bet there's going to be a lot of depth to these characters when the readers really get their hands on it, man. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm all about the bad guy. I represent the bad guy. Even my shirt, I just realized is Thanos.
Nice.
But yeah, a real villain is written properly. What makes Magneto's my favorite villain. If I had a minute, I'd show you my shrine. I literally have a shrine of Magneto stuff. A good villain is what makes a good guy. You're as good as much as you can relate to him. When I read Magneto stuff, I'm like, you know what? The situation, I can relate to someone going, I am sick of being abused and I want to fight back.
Yeah.
There's something I have to do. And what's great about specifically Magneto is he has this mannerism where he can jump back and forth. If it serves the better good of mutant kind, he's going to be on your side. That may sometimes put him against, but a lot of times it puts him on the same side as the X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird, but you find yourself in that situation in real life so often where, some people can talk you into doing something that other people would consider bad, but they don't think is bad. And, so that's a really cool situation all the way around, man. So I think the readers are going to have a great time checking out this story and finding where the path just leads it for these two guys,
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a neat story. The idea came from, are you guys familiar with the book Stray Bullets?
I've
I'm
seen
not.
it before, but I've never gotten a chance to actually read it.
Yeah, it's an independent book. It's like 1997, so it's late 90s. I'm an old guy. I'm close to 40. Not 40 yet, though, for the record. In the last page of the first issue has this guy. This guy, for lack of a better term, he's kind of a little slow.
Okay.
Murders a whole bunch of people, and they're all in his trunk, and he kind of leaves the car on the side of the road. And that's really what spawned this idea in my head. I was like, well, how would you deal with that? Like rational, regular people dealing with these bodies, if they were broke on the side of the road and they had to dispose of them, what do they do on the side of a major highway, and how they resolve that issue, the tempers that flare and what that goes from. It was originally a film, believe it or not.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
wow. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
And then what happened? It got relegated to being a comic, and it never got filmed, or did it get filmed?
Yeah, no, I was in film school, and we filmed the small little part of it. So I kind of did it as a short. So it's just, the segment in the car and that kind of tell the stories, but I never got around to finishing the rest. When you're in film school, you're working on like 6 or 7 projects. So a lot of times when you're doing assignments and when you're doing stuff for assignments and not necessarily for love, you jump onto the next thing because you need to turn in the assignment. So, but I always could never get past it. I could never get past it. So I started getting this drawn. The guy who I have is Felix. He's all the way from Austria.
Wow.
And he drew it all in 2008. So this is when he drew this book. So this book has been gone that far. In fact, I have some of the original art pages right near me. Like, they're beautiful pages. Can you guys see that?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, awesome.
Some original art pages, yeah. Anyways, so he drew it. We got done issue 1, and we're halfway through issue 2, and he's like, I had a kid, and I really can't do this anymore. And my heart was devastating. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle it. So I just kind of was like, no, I want to finish this book. I'm not doing it if we don't finish. I got married and recently found it in a folder, and I was like, I wonder what that guy's doing. I messaged him. He's like, I want to finish. So we started writing. I took 10 of the pages from issue 2, put it into issue 1, made it a 30-page book, rewrote some stuff, and this book is 100 times better than if it would have came out in 2007.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
Now, a lot of times we'll save these questions for our second segment, but I want to throw this one out there just to kind of fit in the, how would you say things have changed from you guys collaborating in 2007, 2008 to now? I mean, what would you say? Is it about the same as far as technology goes, or what would you think?
It is drastically different. So when I did comics back then, so I've been writing comics since 2003 is my first comic.
Awesome.
I've written things for government bodies, a lot of anthologies. I wrote for, are you guys familiar with the book Negative Burn?
Now, I remember reading about that, and I'm like, that sounds so familiar. Like when I was reading on, now, fill us in, so that the Legion of Love can learn about Negative Burn.
So Negative Burn back in the day was the wheelhouse before Image was around. That was where you found the new talent.
Gotcha.
So Brian Michael Bendis, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, David Mack, anybody you can think of, really.
Yeah, a bunch of nobodies.
Right, a bunch of nobodies would write anthology stories and submit them to this from Caliber Comics.
It's awesome.
And that's how you got it. And I'm in it. I actually have a story in one because that was my dream. I was like, if I could be in that, I'm clearly just as talented as them because I'm in the book, right? That's the way it works. So you'd submit to that, and you'd hope that somebody noticed it and you get picked up, and you just did comics. But you had to write in Western Union money and wait for pages and hope that they were the right size. These are not comic size pages. I don't even know 100% whether or not I could have printed this back in the day. Like he says I could, but I don't know if I could.
Yeah, it probably would have cost 10 times as much,
Right. Or would have been a smaller size. Luckily technologies has evolved and it's not going to be a problem. But yeah, it's drastically different. And then it's all out of pocket. Back in the day, it was literally whatever I could afford is how much comics I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Where now I can have the opportunity to build a fan base, do some work, and then ask the fan base, hey, can you supply it? And the key is for this, for Kickstarters, and what I love about Connor and myself that you guys have had on, is we're people who aren't begging for you to pay for us to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? We're not asking, and I think that you guys did that intentionally, is we're not people who are going, please help us do the art. No, we did the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to buy it. So we're using Kickstarter as a platform for you to buy our product.
Yes.
And so that's really what it's for. It's kind of more exposure than a fund our dream. You are funding our dream, but we've already done the work to get it done. We can send it to you now to show that it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely part of our criterion in picking people for the show, because we actually get a lot of requests for people who want to be on here and do interviews and, kind of hawk products and stuff. And we're like, well, dude, we want to see what you're doing. We want to see if we like it. And we want to see if it's like, someone's going to ask $40,000 to make a comic. You're like, well, dude, you're trying to get paid for the whole year. What are you doing? So we love that you guys are making a book that we can buy. The fact that, and we'll go over it a little bit later, the backers, you can back it for, as little as $10 and get a printed copy of the book. That's awesome, man. So I got to say that, yeah, your guys' pricing plan speaks to us of passion, that you guys are passionate about the product. It reminds us when we met Lloyd Kaufman, the famous film director, he told us, do you want to make $1 million from your story, or do you want people to read it? And I'm like, yeah, that's so true. And we see that in you guys, that you want people to see your work and to love it and to be exposed to it and enjoy it. You don't need your name on a monument somewhere. It'd be nice, but
now
that's the key, right? Yeah. So I believe fully that you can do anything you want to do in this world, as long as you manage your expectations, right? Mm-hmm. I can't make you write Spider-Man.
Right.
Because somebody's already writing Spider-Man. I'm sorry. Maybe you didn't check. But I can get you to make your own superhero and make it into a comic. I can get you an artist. We can get you together. It may not be your dream, what you want it to be, but it can be. However, sometimes you get lucky. This book is lucky. This art is far better than I deserve for the amount that I paid for it. He's an amazing artist. His line art is fantastic. I have Carl Morland. Did you guys see that as one of my cover artists?
Yeah, we did flip through that, and we're kind of like, whoa, yeah.
Absolutely.
I have so many people supporting me, and it's such a beautiful put together. The colors are amazing, so blessed.
Yeah, we grabbed your screen grab from your Kickstarter there of your team there, if you want to give them all a shout out.
Yeah, so to the right of me, I'm the guy with my head like this. You can identify me. I'm not,
there you go. Spot on.
We've got Felix right there. So Felix, that's my artist. He is amazing, has done amazing work out all over the other side of the world in South America. He's done tons of stuff since we've not been hanging out. It's most of the time he spends a lot of time in Indonesia. That's kind of where he's at. But he does stuff. JW does our interior covers. He's out of Pennsylvania. We got Jerome here. He's out of Canada, Montreal. We've got Davies in the bottom right center there. That guy is from Brazil. That guy's done Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You guys are gamers, right?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Mirror's Edge. Are you familiar with that game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He did the comic for Mirror's Edge. He did the colors.
Dude, that's awesome.
And then we've got Carl. So Carl, that guy created Frey. Which, if you guys know Buffy, in the last season, she has that crazy cool axe thing.
Yeah,
that was created by him. It's for a futuristic story done by him and Josh Whedon, and he's done tons of series of Buffy. So if you've ever bought the Buffy coloring book or any of the comic books, chances are you've seen Carl's stuff, and that's just his Buffy stuff. He's done Avengers, Superboy, all sorts of talented things. I'm super lucky.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, but it's nice to see that, like we said, that kind of passion for projects will bring in even the most talented people to say, hey, yeah, we believe in what you're doing. We'll take little to no pay to help you out and help get a great project off the ground, man. So I think it speaks volume for the work itself when you can get a great team behind it, So kudos.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, like you had mentioned earlier, El Bandito, we definitely want to go down a quick list of just some of the awesome backing options you guys have and how affordable they are, and for people just to get their hands on the comic. You guys are being so fair and so cool about these, and we just want to just throw, and some really cool, awesome things for even some of the higher backers that actually kind of have a little bit of effect on the comic itself. Like, was there something where you could like name a gang or something like that in there?
Yeah, I've seen some stuff like that. I got some slides for that too. Let's see what's up. We'll look back at these later, but here we go. Here's some slides of pledge rewards. There we go. So I know for just $1, people can get the digital PDF. So bam, you get the whole story for $1. You can't beat that.
It's a value. It's a bargain. And like I said, I'll give you guys a black and white right now.
Look at that, man. Now, you heard Travis right there. For all the Legion of Love out there watching us, I know I got a handful of you guys out there. Go ahead, shoot him an email. Tell him you're with the Power Hour. Tell him the Power Hour sent you, and he's going to hook you up with a black and white comment or a comic. We appreciate. He might send you a comment, too. Like, quit asking me for free shit. Damn. No, but we appreciate all the comments down here. I know Caleb says, classic Joker and Batman relationship, referring to our talk earlier about Magneto. Rachel says, if Magneto wasn't brought up, it wouldn't be a Travis interview. And Caleb, thank you for the compliment on our CNN banner. Yeah, I made that, so I'm pretty proud of it. But for only $4, you get the digital PDF and the bonus script with other bonus things, which I think are the pages, right? Don't you get some sketch pages?
So you get some sketches. Yeah. I've had multiple. So before I found the artist that I wanted, there's a couple other people who've worked on the book. So I have some of their art, which is kind of cool in there.
Yeah.
Some original sketches. So there's some cool things in that just for $4. It's digital only. It's stuff that you'd normally reserve for like a trade, but I'm going to give it to you now just in issue 1 because there's so many cool things.
That's awesome, man. So $6, you get the digital PDF and Parallels. Do you want to tell us real quick a little bit about Parallels?
Yeah, like I said, I was in Negative Burn. I've been in government bodies. That's the little thing over here. That little that was my first work, and a couple other little anthologies. So I went and put it all together as a 24-page book and shared it. So that's all my anthology work. So I'm going to give you guys that for free, so you guys can read that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And then $10, which, like I said, this blew me away. You get a physical copy of the book and the digital copies of both Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies and Parallels. I mean, man, talk about a super saver right there.
Yeah, and that's cover A. So that's the cover to the left up there with them pushing the car. That's cover A.
Awesome.
And now for $20, you get all 3 of these covers right here.
No, for $20, so you get 2 covers. You get the first 2.
The first 2. Gotcha. Okay.
For 20. You're right. For 20, you get all 3. There's a $15 level too that you get the 2.
Oh, okay.
And 20 get 3. So it's however many you want, and Carl's cover is in that $20 package.
Nice,
that's
man.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So you get for $20, you get the 3 covers. For $15, you get the A and B, but both of them come with the Parallels PDF too.
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome, man.
Man, what a deal.
Now, I got to say, I think I got a graphic for it here. The Epic Collector's Kit you guys have. Now, this was pretty baller. We dug this a whole super ton, man. So for $35, let me see here. I got it written down, but this one was big, so I got to scroll down and find it all there.
I can do it for you if you want.
Go for it.
All right. So you get all 3 covers. You get a 4-issue exclusive story that I'm going to give you a digital ash can. So that's a 4 called Denver's First Job. So that's only going to be available in digital format. So it's a actual new written work of the characters. You get trading cards. You get a set of 4 trading cards that are going to be available. You get government bodies. I happen to have a copy right here.
Nice.
Government bodies. That's my first work. I'm going to give you that signed, sending in that. All of that signed, as well as in the collector's kit. So you get collector's kit, and then you get another cover. You get a sketch cover. So if you're a sketch guy, that's a great time to get that. And if you are local, I know you guys are in Florida, and I'm in Florida.
Yes.
At Free Comic Book Day, Carl comes down most of the time, and he'll draw a sketch for you for free on it.
Dude, that's
awesome.
You can't beat that. That's the way to do it, man.
I know till May, but you can do it.
Yeah. Hey, some things are worth the wait, man. So I'm actually looking at this $35 one. I know I got the $10 comic one earlier, and I'm like, I'm gonna upgrade to this $35 one. I missed the part about it coming with that whole other printed copy of Government Bodies. I want to check that out.
Yeah, no, please, absolutely. Thank you for your guys' support,
Absolutely.
And you're just getting closer to get those air fresheners. Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's the whole thing. I don't even read comics. I just want to get the air freshener. So for $150, you guys have an epic package here. Did you want to tell them about that one?
Sure. Let me look at which one's 150.
Okay.
The I Know Him package.
Yes.
That's if you know me. So I've acquired all the things that I've written, and I don't have a lot of copies of them because, again, I've been doing this since 2003. Mm-hmm. So this is everything that I've written all together, all in one package. So it's Negative Burns 22, Government Bodies number 3, Space Coast Comics, issue 12, Memoirs of a Broken People, which is a book that I wrote. I'm also going to give you all the stuff in the Epic Collection that we just talked about, as well as I am going to draw you a cover. Ooh. And I am not a good artist. I don't know if you have a picture of my art. It's not great, but I'm going to draw it. I recommend asking me to draw Ninja Turtles. That is my skill set.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have anything to do with Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies, but maybe we can have, the turtles pushing the car, kind of a homage.
Well, you drew that Magneto, right? So.
Right.
Well, that's just really cool, man. And I know that's limited to one backer, right? Like only one person can score that award.
That's all I got. Yeah, that's all I've got available for. But there's other cool stuff. There's writer's sketches. Yeah. The Name the Game that you guys were talking about. I've got a funny story with that if you guys want to hear it.
Yeah,
sure.
So I accidentally sold 2 of those.
Okay.
Now, how does 2 people name a gang?
Yeah.
It's really hard. You know how they do it? You add another 6 pages to your book, so now issue 2 is 30 pages.
Nice, man.
So there's a brand new biker gang that got added, a whole nother subplot that we just added to the story. You're supposed to do that, so that's there, which is super cool.
I have to say, that's pretty gracious. I definitely would have just put a hyphen and put the other name right behind it and totally cheaped those people out. But you're a good man.
Yeah, no, if you do the math, so an average, so let's call it 5 extra pages to the book.
Okay.
That's going to cost me about $700. Okay. Someone got that for $250. I think they got a bargain.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, that's awesome, though. But hey, we're excited because we're all going to be able to grab that up. Now, how soon do you think issue 2 is going to be out?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
I've got 13 pages done already. He says he actually messaged me right before the show and says he's got about 5 more pages to show me.
Nice.
So that's going to be pretty cool. He's blowing through them. There's a little small delay because with the Name the Game package, you get those people get to get added into the comic. Mm-hmm. So we've got to give a little bit of time to add them into the comic. But yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff. But issue 2 should be out. I don't know. I'll probably wait a little bit, just probably February or March. Probably do it beginning of the year. And again, not that it won't be done before then. I just want to give enough time so people who buy a package, like you just said, I may up the package to $35. That's a lot to spend. I want to give you guys some time. I understand your budgets. There's a lot of great projects out there, but I do want to get it in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we appreciate that because one thing we knew setting up this month was that we wanted all of our fans to support. We wanted the Legion of Love to support all the awesome Kickstarters and indie comics and creators that we brought on here, which, again, is why we're looking at people who are offering very reasonable packages so we can all get a copy of each of your guys' work. But we do appreciate it, being a little bit spaced out. That's good thinking, man, because it's hard to shell out just money, but even when you want to. So yeah, so that's good thinking, I think.
So are we looking at August 30th? Is that the Kickstarter end date?
Yeah, August 30th is the Kickstarter end date. And we've been doing awards. I don't know if you guys heard about it. So last night we did the funding party. So that I gave out T-shirts, I gave out original art. So, and this is what's important for the Legion of Love people. If you bid $1, and literally, if you bid $1, you have the option to be part of any of our prizes. The guy who I'm sending an original page of art to, I'm sending him some original art, bid $1 for the digital copy of the book. I'm sending him an original art to Australia. Do you know how much that's going to cost me? But it's about the fans, right?
Yeah.
When we're doing Kickstarters, I'm not Marvel. I'm not asking you to invest in the latest Deadpool, the latest X-Men, or even the great books like Saga or Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you to invest in me as a creator, to take a chance at me, and I'm going to treat my fans right, and I want to build a rotation. I don't want you to just buy this book. I want you to buy issue 2. I want you to buy issue 3. I want you to invest and come along this journey with me. And whatever I can do to make that happen, I'm going to do it. That's what coming on these shows are about, is showing you guys I have mad love for the fans, and I really want you guys to love what I've created.
Well, that's awesome, man. Well, you heard it, Legion of Love, man. Get out there and support. We got, like we were saying earlier, the project right now has actually hit the milestone, the initial goal milestone, but now we're working towards powering up to those stretch goals. So now I know we've noticed that some of them are listed as locked. Is there any kind of like little hints you could give us, or those have like, no, they're not getting revealed until we hit those numbers?
Well, let's so there's 2 separate types of goals, because I care not just about stretch goals, because I also care about backer goals.
Okay.
So it's 2 different things. So at 125 for backer goals, which we're pretty close. We're at 95 backers right now. So we're pretty close to 100. And there is a prize at 100, just for the record.
Well,
at 100, we had a pin up to the back of the book, which is really, really cool. But at 125, we're going to have another party, and that's another original art that gets handed out randomly. We roll it here publicly. We look up who the backer is, and they get that. So that's going to be cool. And that's going to go every 25 after that. We're going to do increments of stuff, from digital comics to all sorts of things. So that's on the backer goals. Now, stretch goals. The first thing we're doing is air fresheners. So that's going to be super cool. We're getting that to everybody. That's going to be first thing. Second thing is we're going to get you guys a little bit more story. So we've got another pages that are being built right now to back at the 35. So we're going to give you guys another 5 pages of story, not in the book, but separate from the book, the backup story that we're going to give you guys. At 4,000, there may be another cover that gets to every physical backer.
No, man.
I don't know what that is or who did it, but it's somebody famous and kind of cool.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
So that'll be kind of cool. So there's a lot of stuff. I'm really investing in you guys, and you guys are investing in us. Issue 2 comes out faster and better if you guys invest. All the money. I've shelled out all the money now. You're not paying me back. I'm not taking a dime from this. I'm literally just investing it into issue 2, investing in issue 3. Hopefully at the trade, I'll see $1.
That's awesome, Travis. And like we said, the Legion of Love, get out there and support, and we've got a lot of other cool stuff to talk about Travis, talk to Travis about after, we're going to jump into some PoDunk news real quick. But we're going to open up the lines so that people can throw down some Q&A. I know we got some other questions, but I think we're going to jump in real quick to get into that crazy world of PoDunk news right now.
Yeah. So we might put Travis on hold here for a few minutes, but like he said, man, I just dropped a link in the Kickstarter page. So if you guys want to tab over to that and start checking out his Kickstarter, you can see at the bottom where he has a breakdown of like the monetary needs of the book. And you can see there's no little pie slice for, hey, me going out to Red Lobster. So, he's taking care of you guys. Let's take care of him. Let's check out all his awesome Kickstarter stuff there and all the cool rewards that we can all get. Because let's face it, we all win if we get stretch goals. So
Right, exactly.
All right, so Travis, we're going to put you on hold for just a few minutes. We're going to jump into the newsroom, and we'll chat you up in a bit.
PoDunk News.
Hey, everybody. All right, we are back. They cannot keep us down, right, Al Bandito?
Oh, you know it, senor. And, hey, we're talking to Travis Gibb tonight, writer of Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies, and I think he broke us down, too. No.
No. Definitely.
We couldn't help the internet breaking down, though. Dang, man, what's going on? So must be some of those beautiful Florida thunderstorms you people out there have heard so much about.
You know it, man. Well, if our Legion of Love out there can go and reshare part 2 of this awesome video, we're going to power through some PoDunk news real quick so we can get Travis back in here and do some awesome Q&A, but we're going to rock this out real quick. Throw it on up there, El Bandito.
All right, rapid fire news. Here it comes.
Oh, yeah. Well, Fox is talking, or Disney, who recently acquired Fox, they're coming out and they're saying, guess what? Soon enough, you're going to be able to see some of your favorite Fox comic characters join in the MCU, but not too soon. They're going to let some of those upcoming movies finish off before they actually integrate them into the MCU proper. So you'll still see X-Men Dark Phoenix, X-Force, and the New Mutants movie, but then after that we might see the likes of the Fantastic Four, Deadpool, and even the X-Men in the MCU.
Yeah, which is great. And the MCU needs time to wrap up the story that they're doing right now too. So I think it kind of works out best for everyone if they just hang out. But so many Fox properties are being scooped up by Disney here. So we've got Avatar, we've got The Simpsons, all sorts of great stuff. Everything under the Fox Entertainment banner is soon to be part of Disney, man. So pretty rocking. But when it comes to rocking stuff, nothing's rocking the headlines right now harder than Red Dead Redemption 2. What have we got going on over there, Senor Bull?
Oh, man, just recently they released a 6-minute long trailer of gameplay footage. A few months ago they released a very cinematic trailer that everyone was kind of like, well, that looked good and all, but like, what's the actual game that I'm going to play? Yeah. So, yeah, this trailer that they released has all gameplay footage and also revealed some of the other aspects of the game that they're going to try to produce this more living environment versus just like an open sandbox. So things that you do will actually have different impacts.
Okay.
And then,
well, what kind of cool stuff did they add?
Well, it's just those things where it sounds almost like similar to almost like what they're kind of planning with like Fallout 76, where you could move your encampment to different spots, or if because you're playing an outlaw. So if the sheriff finds you and they start coming try to take you out, you got to pick up and move the whole outlaw camp somewhere else. But you have other members of the camp that actually you can interact with and just do different things. And I have a feeling that what they're going to try to do is as they update the game, different things will open up for those other characters. So,
nice.
Like I said, they said not just an open world sandbox, but a living environment, like we said, with the outlaw camp. But then also supposedly they're going to have this this other mechanic in the game where you have to make your horse your companion. You're not just going to jump on them and just ride. Different horses will act differently, and you got to kind of
it really adds a new twist to that romance button that they have in a lot of these games.
But it should be pretty interesting. I know I'm definitely going to check it out. Big fan of the westerns and all that stuff. Loved the first game. So
and look, dude, any cowboy will tell you it's okay to love your horse, but you can't love your horse.
Well, if you guys are video game fans, we got some other video game news coming at you. And if you're Nintendo fans, we know you'll really dig this. It's talking about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they're taking all the characters from the previous games, mashing them together so that everyone can really throw down in that lovable Super Smash Bros. Way. But a big announcement that came is that Castlevania's Simon and Richter Belmont will be joining the hero class, which is pretty exciting because we haven't seen those guys in a while. And also King K. Rool from the Donkey Kong Country series will be joining the villains class. Now, probably the biggest excitement here with the Belmonts joining in is that there's a possibility that an upcoming Castlevania game might be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. That new Netflix series is super hot, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were jumping in the fire.
No doubt. That'd make a lot of sense for them. And, as far as Simon and Richter joining, all I can say is we'll see you at the party, Richter.
There you go. Well, if you want to talk about a party, man, definitely, not party, man, but a party, you got to come check out The Burning, Morbid Movies' next big showing down at the Movies of Lake Worth. A lot of people might not recognize this movie, but I know fans of Tom Savini would. This is considered one of his goriest effects movies. So Tom Savini, famous horror effects man. This is definitely considered one of his best.
Yeah, he was behind the original Friday the 13th stuff, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of those early 80s slashers, man, they were digging into Savini to be like, hey, come do my, come make this as bloody as you can. Well, The Burning is definitely on that top list, and you could check it out that is Friday, August 17th, down at the Movies at Lake Worth. $10 to get in the door, 9:30 start time. as usual with Morbid Movies, you go on in, you get a button, they do a raffle at the end of the show with some really cool prizes. So it's a great night to go out. And plus, you get to see a screening of a rare movie that you wouldn't be able to catch on the big screen anywhere else.
Yeah, it's great to see these old classic movies getting played in a real movie theater where you can see it with a very pumped audience. I mean, we all know what it's like going to a concert, man. When you get that energy in a room of a crowd that just loves what they're about to see, man, it makes the experience 10 times better. So head on down, Movies of Lake Worth. That's this Friday, 9:30 p.m. Tell them the Power Hour sent you. They won't know what you're talking about, but it'll be fun.
Well, hey, man, is it? Oh, man, it's our new section.
I know.
Night,
look,
man.
you were about to ask for it, and I just shocked you. You were
There you
stunned
go.
right
Boom,
there.
right,
You saw
right,
my
right.
exciting graphic. But
There
yeah,
you
we're going
go.
to do our headlines, man. Rapid fire. We're going to burn through these. These are some of the most exciting headlines of the week that we don't really have a lot of time to talk about. So we're just going to blast through them real quick and let you guys decide whether or not they're worth your Google later.
Go for it.
All right, so first up, the Seattle plane thief's apparent knowledge of loops, other dangerous maneuvers is a mystery, says investigators. So I thought that was a pretty interesting headline because I could take a guess or two at where he learned how to do loops and things like that, but whatever.
GTA. Oh, wait, GTP?
All right, so also remembering Jim the Anvil Neidhart, man.
Absolutely, man. Jim the Anvil, classic Hart Foundation member. Him and Bret Hart kind of started that whole tag team, which later on developed into the faction during the Attitude Era, featuring also the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. And definitely, man, this guy, man, he was always a big man getting in there, just knocking guys down. And he's also the father of a current WWE superstar, Natalia. So definitely our thoughts and prayers go out to the Neidhart and the Hart family, and definitely, if you don't have the WWE Network, go on there and you can watch plenty of Jim the Anvil going on there, and him and Brett going and tearing roughshod through the WWF of old.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Also, we got to talk about 76, man. We're going to talk about this every week. That's why we put it in the hot headlines, so we can just say it real quick. Fallout 76 will make trolls the enemy. That's how they're going to deal with them. They're going to make them the bad guy of the game somehow. You want to know how? Go Google it up and figure it out, because there's more Fallout news. Fallout 76 is not coming to Steam. Bethesda says they will host the game themselves.
Yeah, I know this is kind of like as far as the PC community goes, you have the people that are kind of like, no, I want my games to be, DCM free and stuff and not have to go through Steam. Like I could just have them on my PC. But, it seems that I think I'm not really sure where Todd Howard's view on this is coming from. Maybe because he's seen other online games get hosted, and maybe the Steam's capability can't keep up to what they think they can power right there at Bethesda. Or who knows, maybe they're just wanting to keep everything in-house like they've been doing so far. Remember we heard, no more New Vegas games or anything like that. They want everything right there at Bethesda. So
no doubt.
I'm sure those guys that really want to play Fallout 76 will get it any way they can. Yeah,
definitely, man. So if you want to find out more about it, go check it out. So let's see. We got what's next? So what's next? This is Science.com reporting that NASA's Parker Solar Probe is headed to the sun. So what's next? That's literally their headline. So what's next? Like, wasn't good enough, NASA. Keep working. Dang, man. No love for NASA over there. Thanks a bunch. I thought it was pretty impressive to get to the sun. Okay, and last but not least, video evidence that Thor's roommate Daryl survived Avengers Infinity War.
Man, I was worried about that guy.
So if anyone remembers the cool little shorts that they did of where was Thor during the Civil War, Daryl was his roommate, and you can check out more about him and whether or not he survived Infinity War by Googling that up. And another real quick Marvel story that we wanted to put out, Travis actually gave us a little bit earlier tonight. Marvel reaching out to John Byrne about new work after a bitter breakup 18 years ago. So, man, exciting news for John Byrne coming back to Marvel, man. If you guys are interested in checking that out, Google up that story, bro, because it's going to have some interesting news.
You know it, man. And like you said, you just mentioned Travis. We got him here in the studio and on our other screen there. So why don't we jump back in with him? We could ask some cool questions and also open up the Legion of Love to kind of say, hey, what do you guys want to say?
No doubt.
Hey, Travis, how's it going, man?
Hey.
So what'd you think of the PoDunk news?
Sorry, my dog gets excited when when we all got excited. My dog got excited.
Hey, he's sharing the love.
Couple of things for PoDunk News. First, for those who don't know Tom Savini, he is Sex Machine from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
There you go.
So that's, everyone may not know Tom Savini, but they all know Sex Machine.
That's awesome.
And since we're talking about Quentin Tarantino-esque stories, I figured that would be a good mix of that. So that was definitely something I wanted to address. And I listened to the audio for that, the guy making stuff, and he did say that he learned everything from video games to do the flips and everything.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Okay, so I wasn't too far off on that. Like I said,
No.
I just saw that headline, and I was like, really, guys? You can't take a shot in the dark at how he could have learned it? Total mystery? Some investigators,
But yeah, I need to know more about this Daryl thing. So we've got though I don't have to go anywhere, I kind of want to speed it up now because I'm curious what happened to Daryl. I'm really invested in that character.
Oh, no problem, man. It's a super ton of fun. Yeah, like I guess people were kind of complaining that Thor didn't have a presence in Civil War. So Chris Hemsworth made a bunch of YouTube videos of Thor like taking up life as a regular guy to learn more about Earthlings. So he's hanging out with this roommate Daryl and totally irritating the crap out of this poor guy who just rented out a room to some Asgardian god that knows nothing about life on Earth.
I know Daryl.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just happy to know he's alive.
Oh, there you go.
Gotcha.
Thanos did not snap him out of existence.
Exactly. Yes. So
That's
good for him,
important
man. So you're more just you want to find out where he's at right now.
Right, I want to know. We know that Spider-Man's going to get stuck in London somehow. Is he with Spider-Man?
Well, guys, tonight we're talking with Travis Gibb. He is the creator of Broke Down and Four Dead Bodies, upcoming comic that you guys could check out over on Kickstarter. But we're going to ask Travis some really off-the-wall questions here. Well, they're definitely still in the comic and movie area, but we thought we'd have some fun. But if you guys have any questions, be sure to throw them down and we'll get to them. So, El Bandito, what do we have first?
What do we have for you? You're going to throw it to me. These are the questions you wrote, and I got to ask them. Huh? All right, let me look and see. So we want to know, what are some of your favorite movies?
Favorite movies?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have a film degree. So my movies are all over the place. It's really hard. So my favorite movie of all time is Mr. Holland's Opus. I know that's... We're going the exact opposite. You expected, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs. Nope, Mr. Holland's Opus. It's a great film. Number 2 is The Terminator. James
There you
Cameron's
go.
Terminator.
Yeah.
The original or the second one?
The original.
Really? Okay.
It was the first movie where you see a female actually take a powerful role and change and evolve.
Sure.
It's such a powerful thing because even when you look at Aliens, though you got the same type of thing, she was kind of a tough cookie from the start.
Yeah.
She's mouthing off to these crew. She's there, but when you look at Sarah Connor was nobody, and then you look at Sarah Connor in 2, and you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she was a waitress and now badass mother to the future of the world kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's why, like, literally, when I went out of Terminator 3, I was so angry because you go from woman to woman badass to son, who is supposed to be the savior of the free world, who is robbing a veterinarian and no longer the star of his film. Screw that film.
Yeah, and the Terminator's like a joke. So the third movie totally sucked. I'd make a strong case for the second Terminator just being an almost perfect movie. I mean, there's just so much fabulous stuff going on there. And even that CGI, a lot of it holds up today because so much of the effects were hand in hand with CGI and practical effects that, I mean, that to me is one of those movies that's damn near perfect.
Yeah, no, it's a great film. So Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Mallrats. Love Mallrats. Being a comic guy, you gotta love Mallrats.
Yeah.
SLC Punk.
Okay, definitely, definitely in that same time frame, as Mallrats and stuff. I think it was 94, 95.
Yeah, and then if you look at my movie shelf, I own every superhero movie, and even the ones that aren't available, like the Jet X movie, The Shield with David Hasselhoff,
nice,
the fantastic movie by Roger Burton. I own them all. So.
You've got the. Oh no, you got Captain America with the motorcycle helmet.
Oh yeah, I've got that now.
Hey, how about Faust?
You guys want to see my man thing? I can pull out my man thing and show you.
I'm not sure that's okay on Facebook Live.
Hold on. Look at this. It's not giant size. It's a normal size man thing.
Nice.
But everyone should get this movie, sci-fi original man thing.
Very cool.
How about Faust? Do you got Faust?
I actually don't know if I have that. It's
I know it's a little not so mainstream, but
yeah, no, I do have some non-mainstream stuff like Road to Perdition and all that stuff. Like I'm looking at them right now. Like I have The Spirit, all sorts of the stuff. I even have Turn Off the Dark, the Spider-Man musical.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Now,
well, wait. Before we get off movies, it's gonna gnaw at my brain. Why the Opus? Why Mr. Holland's Opus? I mean, I remember the film very well. So
it's such a beautiful story about a guy who's has to embrace his life, and he goes through his whole life, and the things that he has to go through, having a deaf son, being a music teacher, falling in love with a student, and not actually going that route. Like I feel it's like a more slice of life that's more realistic than what we normally see. When we see slice of life pictures, they go in these crazy directions, but this is just a guy just trying to survive and wanted to be something and matter to somebody or be heard, and as an artist and as a creator, I just want to put something out there. And, the Mr. Holland's Opus at the end, even though he spent all of his time, he didn't realize that he was putting it out there by loving community, loving his family, loving all that stuff. Went a little deep, went a little love there. I apologize.
Hey, we're all about the love here on the Power Hour.
That's what it's all about. So no, that's what I was wondering. Was it the story that wrapped you in, or was it more of a filmmaking in general? Was there some filmmaking process there that caught your eye more than the story? But
no, I mean, for films, when you talk about filmmaking, that's a whole different category. But I've tried to separate myself from that, because you can't enjoy like Highlander, which is like my favorite TV show. You can't enjoy that if you look at it from a filmmaker's perspective.
Yeah,
It just doesn't hold up. So you've got to kind of separate those two as you're doing things. You've got some brilliant films, but Quentin Tarantino, for all his style, though he's a brilliant director now, if you look at Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, he hides his lack of story in this crazy continuity. Yeah. It's 100% hidden, because I've taken those apart in film school and watched them in order. They're not very good. I don't recommend
Yeah.
But you do that, and you don't all have like the, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, where you have these people who are brilliant cinematography at the same time as they're doing everything. So
yeah, it's definitely two sides to the coin, because you can have a great movie that's done perfectly well, all the visuals, everything, but the story stinks, and then it's no good. Or you can have these movies where the story's really great and everything else stinks, and people will still love it. Like the biggest thing to me is always going back to South Park, that like South Park can tell these great stories and always look like trash. And it's just the story's what's important. So content's king,
I mean, those guys, I rant about them all the time, because they are so more talented than dick and fart jokes. I know they're not watching your thing, but you are way more talented, and you could be solving the world's problems. And you're then having puppets have sex.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You're writing epic. You're recruiting people to Mormonism by making a musical. Like, what are you doing?
No, I totally agree, man. But it's almost like they know, and they're just they don't give a damn, So super
South
cool.
Park,
Man.
the musical is I love musicals. I love Rent. I love theater. I'm basically gay but straight, because I have a wonderful wife and kids. But I love musicals and all that stuff. Yes. My daughter's like, "You're gay?"
Stop talking to those two guys.
Every night you're on a chat with guys. South Park musical is a brilliantly put together musical.
Yeah.
And brilliantly put together, and it's wasted on South Park.
Well, I got to jump in real quick here with all Now we noticed on your listings of hobbies, you listed meatloaf. Now we wanted to know: is that eating meatloaf, making meatloaf, or listening to meatloaf?
I love me some meatloaf. I love meatloaf. I just met him at MegaCon a couple years ago.
Okay.
I don't think I could pull it off the wall, but I got it signed, and it was possibly the thing. I just love Bat Out of Hell. And actually, I don't even really like meatloaf, to be honest. It's the guy who writes the songs is named Jim Steinman.
Okay.
He also wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah, so you like his songs, and Meatloaf just happens to sing the majority of them. The guy's super creepy, super weird, like into vampires and Peter Pan, like all sorts of cool things.
He was in Rocky Horror, you know.
I'm 39. I should not listen to Meatloaf. I know that sounds old to some of your fans, but it's not Meatloaf old. It's not. It's like 20 years after Meatloaf. Like.
Well, that's awesome that it turned out to actually be the performer. We totally just thought you really enjoyed eating meatloaf, you know. Well, a couple of our buddies, Sean Barber and Chris Hall in here were earlier. They were kind of just throwing back a few comments, and they were kind of mentioning what they were cooking for dinner right now. And I was like, this would be a perfect spot to interject the meatloaf comment.
Well, yeah, and I'll be honest, we were totally talking earlier, like, if he's got some baller meatloaf recipes, we're going to have to get them, you know? Because you may notice we're no stranger to a good meatloaf.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but do you really enjoy, have you ever said, you know, I really need to get the recipe for that meatloaf? Has that ever happened in your life? You've enjoyed it.
Okay, I want to tell you something, right? See, my mom's Cuban. She was born in Cuba, moved here to America. I didn't have meatloaf till I was like 17, and I was like, oh my god, what is this heavenly just mashup of meat? Someone took a cow and ground it up and just made a log out of a hamburger. This is genius. Why have I not had more of this? So yeah, like I went to Cracker Barrel. It was like, how did you do this?
Please make me more. I was gonna say mom's meatloaf is probably the one meatloaf that you're like, yeah, that's some pretty baller meatloaf.
Yeah, because
right
of course I came home and asked my mom to make meatloaf, and it was terrible. So we worked on it for a while, and now she makes some like pretty awesome, very American meatloaf, which is great. But yeah,
I would love to find a kid who's taken meatloaf and made it into sandwiches, like actually cut it into loaves of bread. And
dude, my dad said he did that when he was a kid. That he would cut it because it's a square, so it's the same size as your bread. So. I guess that's an old school thing, a way old school thing. But yeah, man, Sean Barber's in the house, Chris Hall, other comic creators we know out there. They're just loving it, man.
Hey, guys.
So we got a couple other questions here. Now, we know you had mentioned that, you know, you're good buddies with the Space Coast Comics. Now, how has it been like working with those guys? We love Jake and the crew over there. Just we want to throw some
Dave,
love.
yeah,
throw some love towards Space Coast Comics.
Yeah, no, I love Jake. Jake Estrada. He is such a powerhouse of the community. He really is. He will go to any network. I mean, he'll go anywhere to really say how important comics are. He's got this big heart. The guy's bigger than life, like literally bigger than life. He's huge. But he has such a heart for the community. In Space Coast Comics, he produced it for like 2 years, just giving it out to people.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And as me, I'm a professional. I know, like right now, you're getting me in geek mode, but normally I'm dressed up and I'm trying to sell websites. I own a web design company and I try to sell that to people. But in comes this guy, you know, who I kind of wish I could be as cool as, who just comes in. He's like, hey, I got a free comic. Do you guys want to do ads in my comic? I was like, what? No, we're talking about business here. Like, there's a banker and there's a real estate guy and like this owner. He's like, no, I got a comic. Here you go. And like makes way and like has part of it. You know, we met up really quickly after that. I was like, dude, anything in my catalog you want, you can have. So I've been in, I think it was in issue 12 of Space Coast Comics. And I think I'm in the new best of story of it. But yeah, man, like he's such a great guy and he does so much for the community, getting these fans. Space Coast Comics, a lot of those things wouldn't happen without him. You guys may not realize that because a lot of the other people are kind of putting on the shows and fronting the money, but it's really Jake's heart that's putting it together.
Absolutely, man. I know when we met Jake and the gang up at Daytona Beach Comic Con, we could just tell we're like, man, these are our people, man.
Yeah.
Like we want to work together with these guys. And like I said, that was the day where they had said, hey, we're going to be making a movie next week. You want to come out and be a zombie? And we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right up. That's right in our wheelhouse. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of fun. So much great stuff. And if you guys haven't heard, Space Coast Comic-Con's coming at the beginning of September. So we'll definitely have some more news on that as we get a little closer to September.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get some books, some pre-books, not the Kickstarter stuff. I'm trying to get some early to table out there and at least have some print copies. They'll probably be very different from any of the rewards, but I'm going to try to be out there. Because the books take about a month. To get them at the price that we're getting them, you have to go overseas.
Gotcha. Well, I know we'll definitely try to catch up with you there, man, and we'll do some live on-the-spot interview and let people know that they need to come down and see what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm doing something in Daytona, too, in November. You guys should definitely come out. I'll talk to you guys off the air. There's a one-day con out there, but I'm in a room where literally I'm teaching people how to make indie comics. So I'm doing it all day with a couple of other indie creators. And I'd love to have you guys come in and talk about what it's like to get people on the air and podcast and how you approach you guys and don't go, hey, get me on the air. Like what it actually takes.
Absolutely, man. Well, I think if you're talking about a one-day con up in Daytona, that's the Daytona Beach Comic-Con in November. And we can definitely tell you that El Bandito and I will absolutely be there. We're a big fan of Tom and the gang up there. So,
yeah,
absolutely, man. We would love to come in and spread the love.
Yeah, I will be there. Like I said, I'm speaking at that event. So we'll hang out there, and you guys will have your awards by then. We'll get them signed. And all that. It'll be fun.
Awesome, man. Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you.
Definitely. Now, just a couple more questions, if that's all right.
Yeah, I'm here all night.
Growing up, what would you say were your favorite heroes or villains? Whatever you'd rather talk about.
Have you not been paying attention?
Hey, well, you can only have so much wall space. We thought you might want maybe a couple honorable mentions.
Yeah, so growing up, Spider-Man. Spider-Man was my dog. He still is. Love Spider-Man, the best hero in all of it. Everything. I'm a Marvel guy all the way. Though I do read equal Marvel to DC now, it's still Marvel that I read first. It's Marvel that I love. So Magneto was second. I always loved Magneto. The X-Men. Gambit. Huge womanizer, cool thing. When you talk about, dude, when you got that 90s comic, I will always remember the pickup line for Gambit, and I always find ways when I was single to figure out ways in conversations. So the first time you see Gambit in the X-Men animated series, he's buying a deck of cards, and the lady goes, are these all for you? What game are you playing? Is this all for you? And he's like, well, I like solitaire, okay, unless I got someone to play with. And I was like, this dude's got game. Heard something.
I have to say, that first episode of that, where they're like all in a mini mall, not wearing their costumes, was so cool.
I remember Storm just as she could transform out of her.
Yeah, just like lightning rippled over her, and she had the white outfit, and you're like, that's cool. I didn't know the weather did that, but sure.
So you think she was just wearing all that underneath,
Maybe she's just burning off the top coat of the clothes, but
I love those. Those were great. Those 90s, those X-Men, that was so great. And they were taking things right out of the comics, as they kind of were happening within a few weeks. So it was so cool to see that. When you talk about other books, 90. So I loved Crimson. Do you guys familiar with the character Crimson?
No, I'm not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Crimson's a vampire character. It has about 30 or 40 issues. It was really, really good. I love that character. So that was a kid growing up. I was like that. I got into Image really fast, so I liked Spawn and Savage Dragon. So growing up, I kind of jumped ship over there. Always hated Superman, still do. Like Nightwing, all the time. So yeah, those are kind of my superhero stuff. I don't. New Warriors. I love the New Warriors. So,
yeah.
Night Thrasher, Speedball, all those guys. Darkhawk, all the way, Darkhawk.
Yeah. So you liked up all those guys that blew up Connecticut up there?
Yeah. Basically, any character who's not relevant now, I was really a big fan of.
I have to say, the New Warriors being absent, their role in the Civil War in the comic book series was such the linchpin for the whole thing that I was really skeptical on how the film would ever kind of get the same tone across. And I think they did okay, but I don't think it was anywhere near as impactful as the ignition from the comics, you know?
Well, and you got to think of it like it was really a commentary on where we were going.
Yeah.
You know, with the reality TV, like we didn't have it exposed to it probably another 3 or 4 years after, but really real life played out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Our president is a reality star. Make no mistake, regardless of how good of a campaign he ran, he won because he was a reality star.
Yeah.
Like you say, man, when you look at how comics like kind of do drive, or just fiction in general, you know, like Star Trek back in the day. Now we got iPads and all that fun, you know. It just, you never know where things are going to go when people read stuff in a book.
No doubt, but like that tragedy event like that kind of post 9/11 made so much sense. And then, like you said, the reality angle that got so oversaturated in the next few years. I mean, it was just a wonderful story that came out at a wonderful time. And unfortunately, they didn't have the pieces to be able to set that up in the film. And I think it ended up being kind of a watered-down version of what we got in the book. But I still think it's a passable movie. I don't think it's the best of the Marvel movies, but it was passable.
No, I actually enjoyed it immensely. I mean, I really, as someone who, even though I love superhero movies, like that was the one that I thought they were going to fail on, right? You're like, there's just too many characters. Yeah. It's done.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, they did it. And they gave me Zemo, like a real Zemo, because that's how Zemo acts without saying it's Zemo. And it's really just for me. Mm-hmm. Like Zemo, you have to be a comic reader to know that was Zemo.
Yeah.
Like, that's his mentality. That's the way he sets things up. Like, so that was for comic fans, and that was such a special relationship there.
It was. I will be the dork that's like, I missed the kind of pink, you know, Deathstroke mask thing, or, you know, a Cobra Commander look he had there, but that's okay, you know? But yeah, I liked a lot of what he did. I just think ultimately the motivation for Tony Stark to attack Bucky was a little weak at the end. It's kind of a throwaway thing, but when he walks in and he calls him the Manchurian Candidate as a joke, and then 10 minutes later wants to kill him for being a brainwashed soldier, I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, you know where the guy's at, and now you just kind of seem like you're being a jerk.
Right, and all you care about is like, where's that Black Panther dude? Like, it really takes away from the big epic battle that they're having, because you're like, where's Black Panther? I know he's on there. Yeah. I saw him jump on the ship.
But I will say, visually, they gave us so many images that were straight out of the comic that was expertly done. So.
And Spidey, let's be honest, when Spidey appeared in the Marvel Universe,
that was pretty awesome.
You were just blown away. Every time I watch that scene, I'm just like, look at how great he is. That's Peter Parker. I've been waiting for that guy.
Dude, the one thing I can say about Civil War, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan as well. He's my number one, my go-to man. But like, no one has ever shown off the character in such a small span of time as when Bucky throws that punch at him and he just grabs it and goes, dude, you have a metal arm? That's so cool. But you're like, dude, he just stopped Bucky's arm like it wasn't even a big deal. Where, like, you know, he punches Cap's shield and Cap goes sliding back 2 feet. So I was like, that just shows off the strength of Spider-Man, his wit, the fact that he's a kid. I mean, you knew everything about the character in that one brief interchange. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and especially, so let's take that and go to Amazing Spider-Man #1. Not Spider-Man, but go to Amazing.
Yeah.
So in the first scene of Amazing Spider-Man, I was angry. A lot of people didn't catch it, but like, so let me get this straight. Peter Parker is skateboarding, get told by a teacher to not skateboard, and then immediately skateboards? No, Peter Parker's not cool.
Yeah.
It does not defy authority.
Exactly.
Dude, we could have a whole hour on why that movie sucks and just failed in every capacity. That thing just drives me mad. But it almost seems like they were like, let's do everything that's not like Spider-Man and see if people like that. And you're just like, what? How did a guy named Webb F up a Spider-Man movie?
That's pretty.
And he tried so hard. Like the shot for shot stuff for Gwen is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Too bad the rest of the movie sucked, so I can't enjoy that one little part.
Oh, wow, that happened? I didn't make it that far. No, but so that leads a good question. What would you say is your favorite superhero movie? We know you said you have a huge collection. What would you say is your favorite all-time superhero film?
That's a hard one. I'm looking at my shelf right now. This way.
Point of reference, right? It's like,
Yeah, because my instinct went to Blade, even though it's not, it's not really not. You're gonna have to go Dark Knight. I mean, really, it's just so well put together and such a great portrayal of both Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
It's never, and especially when you look at that movie as a comic fan, look at Joker as Heath Ledger and go, I'm gonna hate this friggin' movie. There's no effing way that I can possibly like that movie. And you walk out and you're like, I don't get it. Like, I didn't know it was gonna happen. Like, as a creator, I watch films all the time and they're very predictable just because I've watched so many of them and read so many comics. I had no idea what was happening as I walked through that movie, which is the Joker. Yeah. Just do whatever the hell you want.
Well, I think that's very reminiscent that some older comic fans that we know have said that, when Batman 89 came out, everyone was very standoffish against Michael Keaton being Batman / Bruce Wayne. And just because he had been mostly known for comedies, Beetlejuice and stuff like that. And then same thing after people walked out.
Wasn't he Mr. Mom?
Yeah, exactly. So everyone was like, what? They're going to make him Batman? What the hell is this? And then when they actually saw him in the role, they were like, that's Batman.
Yeah, he did a really great job. But, when it comes to the Dark Knight. What's that?
Oh, it looks like it might be fading again.
Yeah, this internet's fighting with us a bit tonight, buddy. I'm sorry about that. Oh, man. Our internet is fighting with us so much tonight. We actually lost our connection with Travis again. It's no fault of his. It's completely our fault. But we want to thank him so much for joining us tonight. We're going to try to reconnect with him and maybe rebroadcast in the future. But for right now, make sure to head over to his Kickstarter page. There's links in the description of this video and over on our Facebook page and stuff like that. Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies on Kickstarter right now. You can get a super cheap copy of it. He's making everything very affordable for everybody. And he's obviously a super cool guy. So, Travis, thank you so much for joining us.
You know it, man. It's been a really good night, talking with Travis and going down memory lane. I know we were talking about X-Men the animated series and a bunch of other older stuff that was just awesome to relive some of those old memories. But like you said, now we're talking about the future, and the future is in Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies over there on Kickstarter, like El Bandito was saying. Awesome book, awesome art, awesome story. Definitely go out there and support. Like El Bandito said, thank you, Travis, so much for joining us tonight. Sorry we've experienced so many technical difficulties, but in this day and age when you're doing stuff on the internet, sometimes that kind of thing happens. So,
I know. The beautiful state of Florida, our lightning storms, and our terrible Comcast internet service.
Well, definitely, guys. Thank you so much to the Legion of Love. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us in the comments, and we're throwing down some great stuff. And we'll definitely see you guys next week. What's going on next week, El Bandito?
Next week, we'll be continuing our Creators Corner. We're going to be talking to Mark Darden from Guano Guy and about his comic. And that, if that's not a name that gets you into what's going on, man, I don't know what will.
Oh, yeah, man. I can't wait, man. So definitely, El Bandito, we're going to rock on out of here, man. But you guys be safe and have fun and catch us next week on Monday at 9 p.m.
We'll see you there.
Yeah.